Hello and welcome. I am so excited to be here with you today to pitch you on a new concept, Meineke, the one-stop shop. My name is Bailey Ringering, and I get to present to you today, but you will hear me speak throughout this presentation in the collective, because really there were a group of us who put this together, and you will see their names represented on this slide as well. I want to start by sharing with you all the opportunity that exists in the market. We'll start very high level with what the pitch is, and we'll get into the details a little bit later on. If you consider the automotive industry, there's really two segments of the market. There is the repair segment, and then there is the cleaning segment. Now, Meineke has a really deep history in the repair segment, but very little presence in the car wash and detailing industry. Now, if you think about it, this division makes sense in the eyes of the company, but really not in the eyes of the consumer. For the consumer, a car is a car, and they just need it fixed and cleaned. Our proposed solution would be to co-locate all of these services, to have repair and wash and detail all in one place. Now, it is our belief that by co-locating and expanding the current services of Meineke, that this will drive consumer satisfaction and ultimately drive loyalty. Now, it is not all about just co-locating. There are a lot of other innovative solutions that we would like to add. The first is really around a subscription payment plan. Now, if you think about it, a lot of subscriptions have lots and lots to offer. Now, currently in the automotive space, everything you pay for is a la carte. If I need my brakes fixed or I need my oil changed, I pay for those each individually, and nothing comes as a bundle. So for the consumer, wouldn't it be great to just pay one flat rate and have my car serviced? Now, we also know that there's some real business opportunity with subscription payment plans. We all know that the local gym makes great amounts of money because they have customers who pay them a monthly fee and never come use their services. So this really could be a win-win for both the customer and for Meineke. Another really innovative solution we would like to pitch you on is the mobile services option. We all know what a pain it can be sometimes to get our cars taken into the shop. You have to go, drop off your car, maybe get a loaner vehicle, come back later that day or the next day, and all you needed was just an oil change. Wouldn't it be great if the automotive repair shop could come to you? This is something that we want to explore, having mobile automotive services, just the basics, come to consumers. Now, we know in today's day and age, everything exists on an app, and yet this doesn't seem to be the case yet for automotive maintenance. It is our belief that Meineke needs to enhance the application usage that they have in order to keep up with the times. I wanted to give a little bit more detail on the payment plans that we're proposing. Now, the traditional plan should stay mostly intact. We know that Meineke has very competitive pricing and wouldn't want to move away from that. However, we think that on top of the traditional payment plan, a subscription payment plan should be put in place. Customers would pay a monthly fee, and this would cover all of their basic maintenance, but in addition, mobile services would be included in the price of that monthly fee. For customers who don't really want to commit to a monthly payment for automotive services and want to stick with the traditional plan, that's great. They can do that. However, if they do want to utilize the mobile services, there will be a little bit of an upcharge or a premium for doing so. We believe that there's a lot of value to be gained from this. If we think about all of the different pains that exist in automotive maintenance, there's a lot of opportunity for growth. Think about the drive time that it takes to get from the place that rotates your tires to the place that cleans the inside to the place that cleans the outside. There's a lot of opportunity to make this a better solution for customers. Think also about all of the analysis that a customer has to go through just to choose where they want to get their service done. If I want to get my oil changed, that seems simple enough, but I need to figure out where is closest, where is cheapest. And with all of this analysis, this really doesn't drive a whole lot of loyalty. You don't have a customer who's saying, I know I just go to Meineke and they take care of all my needs. The other thing that we know is that a lot of times these service areas are not amenable to the customer's schedule. If you think about it, if my car maintenance place has banker's hours and I work long hours, when am I ever going to get my car into the shop? So it's our hope that both through the mobile services, which allow for customers to be more flexible, and through expanding the hours of Meineke's offering, all of this will relieve the pains for customers and actually create gains. Now, to do all of this, there are some key partnerships that have to take place. It begins really with the internal relationships. Meineke's executive team has to be behind this. They have to go through the work that it will take to generate this new business. Dealerships will have to be on board. We know that loaner vehicles are a really big part of the success of automotive maintenance companies, and their continued participation is going to be extremely important. Finally, existing suppliers and new suppliers will be key partners for this success. We know that some components of this solution, such as car wash and mobile services, are new for Meineke, and therefore their current suppliers may not actually supply the types of resources that they will need. Partnering with these three people, or these three entities, will really be key. Now, we know that any solution does not come without cost, and wanted to really show you at a high level the 4 big buckets of cost, and later on in the presentation we'll go very specifically into this. The first is going to be startup capital. We know that it costs money to build anything new. We know that there are human resources involved. We need new managers and technicians. We know that there's a new technology infrastructure that will have to take place, and all of this will come with processing costs as well. Now, we've talked about the customer in general, but I wanted to talk a little bit more specifically about the specific segments of opportunity we have with customers. There's really 2 major customer segments that I want to talk about. First is the time-poor customer. So consider the working mom. She has children that need things from her. She has a job that needs things from her and a husband that needs things from her. There's no time left in the day. And we all know that time is the least renewable resource. It is actually not a renewable resource. And so people often are willing to pay a little bit more for their time to be given back to them. So many of the things that we're incorporating in the one-stop shop are time savers for consumers that will really drive value. And secondly, we have value shoppers. So maybe these people are a little bit more flexible with their time, but are a young family perhaps, and really, really care about getting the most for their money. One of the really unique things that we believe should be incorporated in this one-stop shop is very transparent pricing. So the ability to show a customer that Meineke charges $50 for this, but not just that, Meineke charges $50 and our competitor A charges $55 and competitor B charges $57. This allows customers to very clearly see where the value is. And it is our belief that Meineke needs to be very transparent and honest about what each of those price points are. Of course, striving to be the lowest price, but most importantly, to drive trustworthiness. Now, we know that there are already solutions in use for a lot of these things. Self-service is certainly a next best solution, even if dangerous at times. But you think about it, you can do several of these things yourself. Several you can't. Perhaps you don't have a car lift in your garage, but some things can be done at home. And of course, a lot of times when something is done in a self-service way, you're then not paying for labor and it can be cheaper. So that's certainly a next best solution that will likely always be in place. Now, there's also the third-party solutions. So these are other repair shops. However, while these are the next best solution, we believe that there is a lot to be desired in their pricing and their upfront nature. Now, to enter the market, we believe that we should first start with an omni-channel marketing strategy. So meaning we need to get the word out in a variety of different ways. We need to begin to build trust and transparency in both our services and our pricing. Customers need to know that if they come to Meineke, they will not be upcharged. I cannot tell you the number of times I have taken my car in just for an oil change, and I am told that my car needs 15 other things done to it, and no one will tell me why or how much it's going to cost. And of course, I am not fluent in automotive maintenance, and so I either say, sure, go ahead and do it, and walk out feeling like I was gypped, or I say, no, don't do it, and then I'm afraid that my car is not running well. We really need to build a platform that is transparent about price and about need and are putting the customers first in this way. So not only do we need to be transparent, but we need to take the time to educate customers on the services and on why they are necessary. Now, all of these things we've been listing are really disruptive. This will completely change the trajectory of innovation. Think about the ease of service and the time and effort that is being reduced on the part of the customer. We know that as Meineke begins to roll these things out, competition will heat up as the bar has been raised and competitors will have to move into this space as well. Through our research, my colleagues and I did a lot of analysis on how well each of these components are favored by our customers. And one of the primary ways we looked into this was through value target analysis. So the importance here is really, how do we make sure that what we are doing for our customers is both high on their satisfaction ranking and really important to them? You'd hate to spend all of your resources on something that is not satisfying and not that important to customers. So we did a lot of analysis to make sure that we were doing things that were highly satisfying and highly important. So this research yielded some very clear pains. We saw that companies are not accommodating with their hours and there's poor communication. So a lot of the things that you will see that are resulting here came because we saw that these are highly important and highly satisfying to customers. There were many, many, many other options that were a part of this plan originally that simply didn't rank well with customers. They said, sure, you can make this the best, enter something here, but it's really not that important to me, so why spend your time there? The things that emerged as the real competitive advantages, the things that Meineke can do well and that are important to customers are these two things. First is service bundling. They really want to just be able to come to one place and have it all taken care of in one day, on time, and on budget. And the second is mobile repairs. It became increasingly clear that customers care about a company that will come to them. We are in an increasingly time-poor society, and the ability to come to the customer is a really distinctive competitive advantage for Meineke, because number one, it's something that is not being done currently, and number two, there is some significant outlay that will have to happen to make this work, and therefore it's very difficult for competitors to replicate. A couple of other competitive advantages that I've already touched on a bit are really around communication, trust, and transparency. I want to spend a little bit more time on the communication piece. Have you ever taken your car into the shop and they say, it could be done at 8 a.m. or maybe at 8 p.m.? That does not feel like good communication to me. It feels like I can now not plan my day because you have not planned your day. We are proposing that Meineke really needs to get better at communicating with their customers, to be able to say, this is how long we expect it to take in maybe a 1 to 2 hour window, and then be able to send a text message or send an in-app message that will say, your car is 30 minutes from done, and allow the customers to plan for that, and then really follow through with that communication. All of this communication will help to build trust and to build transparency. Well, there are we could have I could have shown you a picture of Meineke with a car wash attached, or could have shown you a whole fleet of mobile vehicles. We thought that showing you the app was the best way to show you how all of these pieces come together. So there are 4 unique tiles on the app. First is service. See where the closest Meineke shop is, what it offers. One allows consumers to book their own appointments. So if you've ever been on the phone with an automotive dealership and said, well, what do you have available? And then checked your husband's calendar to make sure everything would line up. You know what a mess this is. It is so much better to be able to go in to an appointments tab, see service. So this allows for customers to chat with one of our customer service representatives in real time. The final one is really where the rubber hits the road for our subscription-based services. So clicking this button and going through a series allows someone to join the program in-app use. Having researched and modeled all of this plan, we really wanted to do a conjoint-based analysis to test customers' needs and really ensure that this product has differential value. So I want to walk you through what that looked like. We did 2 different runs of conjoint analysis. In the first run, we had 5 unique product attributes, which would then arrange themselves into 3 distinct product offerings. We learned a lot from this, and really this was the point in our research where we understood that we had a platform-based solution. We had a platform-based solution, and coming together was really the point that mattered. We tested the 5 attributes of available services, service options, on-time completion, job operation, and price. One of the attributes that related to our product was, what this tells us is that even though there wasn't one product that really matched what we were offering, each area of the things we were offering ranked well and were something that customers cared about. In the second run of our conjoint analysis, a lot was the same except for brand. So what we did here was we added specific brand names to each of the options. Really see how much of brand loyalty is driving customers' opinions. So are they saying, I just love Jiffy Lube, and even though they're not offering everything that you're offering, I have Jiffy Lube as one of the other options, is because it really models and serves as a proxy for what Meineke is today. Look at what each of those areas are, you'll see that that's really what we are today, and this will allow us to compare what Meineke is today to what the proposed version of Meineke is. Now, Mr. is a lot closer to what we are proposing that Meineke become. So having them in here really allow value what our options bring above what is already out there in the market with Mr. Now, if you see here, the results show us that brand actually plays a pretty big role in customers' opinions of their automotive maintenance services. The 2 other areas that ranked highly were available services and price. Interestingly, on-time completion was not one of the most important attributes to our customers, and those of us who built the solution felt strongly that that was going to be very important. And so having the results of the conjoint analysis allows us to understand where efforts should be placed moving forward. Now, if you see here, in both scenarios, Meineke ranked extremely high as compared to Jiffy Lube and Mr. This tells us a lot of really important data, specifically that there is significant differential value for this solution. Now, finances, of course, are something that we cannot ignore and are important. We need to know what expenses are going into this and whether or not we're going to be in the red or the black at the end of the day. So I wanted to start here and show you our revenue projections. Revenue on an annual basis is around $570,000, a significant amount of money. To give you a little bit more detail about how we came up with that number, on the left you'll see there are customer sales and assumptions by day. So this is volume. How many mobile washes, how many basic washes do we anticipate doing in a single day? And then on the right you'll see the prices for each of those. So of course you multiply them together, how much volume times the price, and that'll give us the revenue that we're anticipating. Now of course there are some significant expenses. First would be startup costs, which we are projecting to be about $710,000. Labor, about $81,000, labor $324,000, and general overhead $81,000. So we know that a large amount of our expense is going to be in capital. This is one-time money that we have to get this going. Primarily, this is in construction and equipment that we'll need for this to become an option. Going to be some incremental labor as we are adding new services. We need new human resources to help make that happen. And then of course, just an expansion in general overhead, more insurance, more supplies, and things like that. Now, if we look at this on an income statement basis, you'll see that in the first year, there is a significant loss. This, of course, is not something that was unexpected. A lot of companies in their first year are in the red and then break even sometime later. Luckily for us, this solution breaks even in year 2, and we are actually in the black in year 2. You'll see that the primary reason is that all of the capital costs are front-loaded in the first year and don't exist in the second. These are very, very conservative assumptions. You'll notice that we didn't even increase in a marginal gross sales. So you'll see the gross sales are kept the same. Lots of things like this were put in place to ensure that these were conservative estimates that would show us that we really are going to be making a profit. Now, we know that it's not all about the financials. In fact, it is becoming increasingly important for businesses to have some kind of a social value model. We know that the automotive services industry can really contribute to pollution, and that for Meineke to be successful into the future, this cannot continue. So some of the areas that we recommend Meineke give back is through retaining and reducing the amount of water that they are using eco-friendly chemicals that will not damage the communities that they serve, and properly disposing of even these eco-friendly chemicals, and continuing to educate consumers about ways to keep their cars running smoothly and not emitting things that are noxious to the environment. Now, to begin a lot of this, we know that there is going to have to be a significant marketing campaign. Whenever you're launching something new, you have to get the word out. So there are 3 primary channels that we recommend using to market this. First is search engine marketing. When you need to get your oil changed, what's the first thing you do? You Google it, right? We believe that optimizing search engine marketing is so important as it will rise Meineke above the others in the customer's mind. Email marketing is really a great way for us to get the word out about the subscription service, and social media marketing will work as a push strategy to get our platform in front of our consumers. In my final slide here, I want to talk to you about some of the risks. While I have been pitching you on what a wonderful idea this is, and I absolutely think that it is, there of course are some risks. There are always risks in new business. We've identified that for the most part, the ecosystem looks pretty good. There are a few risks with the mobile services option. We know that there are a lot of suppliers that are going to have to go into that, and it is a brand new line of business that hasn't been done before, and therefore there are some risks that we recommend keeping top of mind and keeping a close eye on as we move forward. Thank you for spending time with me today, and thank you for considering this proposal of Meineke, a one-stop shop. There are several ways that we could have prototyped what this solution would look like. I could have shown you a nice Meineke storefront with a car wash attached and with a detailing service attached. I could have shown you a whole fleet of mobile vehicles, but really what I wanted to show you was the app, because it's something that is really going to tie all of these pieces together. So if you look at the 4 tiles that exist here, the first is services. When you click into this button, this will allow you to see what is nearby, what Meineke services are nearby, and then also show some comparison with competitors. So Meineke is 5 miles away. Maybe there's a competitor that's only 3 miles away, but Meineke is significantly cheaper. Then there's the appointments tab. Now this allows customers to self-schedule. If you've ever had to call a service shop to make an appointment, you call and they give you their available times and none of them line up with your times and you need to ask your husband if this works, and it's really just a pain. This appointments tab will allow you to see what available times exist for which services, and you can book it yourself right from the app. The customer service tab is really a great place for customers to get feedback. So they can message in questions, they can message in complaints into this app and have them responded to in real time. Now the final button is really where the rubber hits the road